For being the most recognizable slasher, this guy has some awful films. Summer's on the rise, so what better way to start than talk about the pinnacle of summer camp slashers, Friday the 13th. This franchise is by far the most recognizable slasher franchise of all time. Even if you haven't seen the movies, you've either heard of Jason Voorhees' name or you've seen the mask used somewhere before.
What, you want to see my new chainsaw and hockey mask?
Last Friday the 13th in March, a theater near me was playing Jason X, so I took it upon myself to watch all the other films in the franchise before that one, all the other 9 films, which was not needed. If you're not aware, this franchise just basically keeps making movies no matter what the story is or how bad they are, just to make money off of it. And thankfully that's led to each movie having some kind of weird quirk to it or thing they try new, which keeps them interesting but doesn't make them any better. But I'm not going to try and make this a long intro. You know what we're here for today. I am ranking all 11 of the Friday the 13th movies. Not Freddy vs. Jason, because I have not seen that yet, because I want to watch all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies before that. Future video maybe. Before ranking though, I want to go through a quick plot summary of the entire franchise, just because if I go through all the movies one by one, it's not really going to make sense. None of this film franchise makes sense, but it's going to make a little more sense if I explain the plot of all of them and how fast it kind of goes from regular camp slasher to Jason's in space. Spoilers ahead for all of the movies here. In the first film, Pamela Voorhees, Jason's mother, murders some camp counselors to stop Camp Crystal Lake from reopening, as her son had drowned due to their negligent behavior years prior. After Pamela's murder spree, the final girl decapitates her. In part 2, Jason is alive and fully grown, now seeking revenge over more counselors and hiding in a shack in the woods. The final girl finds Jason's shrine to his mama and tricks him into getting close so she can slash his shoulder. She's later taken away to the hospital as Jason is left for dead in the woods. In part 3, Jason is fine now, and he makes his way to some random forest. He camps out in a barn, and after a group of teens comes for a summer visit, he starts killing them. Not really for a reason this time, just he's having fun. This is going to be a common setup if you can't already tell. The final girl manages to slash Jason in the head, successfully killing him, supposedly. In part 4, the final chapter, Jason is taken to the morgue, but reanimates and escapes somehow. This time we follow a group of teens renting a house across from a mom, her daughter, and her son, Tommy Jarvis. Jason eventually kills all but Tommy and his sister, and Tommy distracts Jason so his sister can slash his head, actually killing him this time, but leaving Tommy scarred. In part 5, A New Beginning, Tommy Jarvis is grown and has been in and out of mental health institutions. Staying at a halfway home, he has visions of Jason, but Jason actually comes back. Eventually, Jason's pushed onto a nail bed, and it's found out that it's actually just someone else getting revenge on the teens in a Jason disguise. Here's where it ramps up now. In part 6, Jason lives. Tommy's done with the vision, so he goes to burn Jason's corpse in his grave. But Jason is struck by lightning and comes back to life. Jason beelines to Crystal Lake and begins killing more counselors and anyone who's in his way, but eventually Tommy straps a boulder to Jason, trapping him in the lake and supposedly drowning him. In part 7, The New Blood, telepathic girl Tina... okay. In part 7, The New Blood, telepathic girl Tina accidentally killed her father as a kid and later accidentally revives Jason. Another group of kids stay at another house across from Tina's stay. Jason kills them, and Tina has a showdown with Jason. She eventually gets to the dock where she uses her dead father to drag Jason down and drown him for good. In part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. An underwater cable shocks Jason back to life again, and he's got nothing left to do but kill random kids now. He hitches a ride on a senior class cruise to New York, kills almost everyone on board, and follows them when they shipwreck. Eventually, the two remaining kids wash Jason away when a sewer is flooded with toxic waste. This is where we really lose the plot, and Jason goes to hell the final Friday. Jason's back, but is blown up by the FBI immediately. However, Jason can possess people now, passing between different bodies throughout the film. Apparently, he has a sister and a niece, whom are the only ones able to kill him once and for all, for magic reasons, you know. So much stuff happens, but eventually, Jason does indeed get sent to hell. And in Jason X, Jason is alive again and is captured in the future, but cryogenically freezes himself and a scientist, being unthawed 400 years later. They're taken on a spaceship and unthawed, where Jason starts killing everyone again. Eventually he's put down, but he's revived with nanotechnology and is just basically invincible now. The survivors manage to escape and roll the ship, ending with Jason burning up in Earth 2's atmosphere. And then 2009 film is a reboot where Jason sees his mom die and now he kills like a hunter, and it's kind of a typical slasher, but it just, kids come to die and he's eventually supposedly killed. Classic Jason stuff. So the movies quickly go from summer slashing to an undead killer, and then a psychic girl. Doesn't appear any other time in the franchise, just one movie with a psychic girl. He can possess people, and then he gets sent to space, also New York. And it's like, honestly, probably the best way it could have gone, because if they made 5 more movies of just Jason supposedly being alive and then killing more people, it would have gotten so old. So really, a psychic girl and New York is the best thing that could have happened to Jason. But I'll be honest, after watching 11 films in this franchise, my brain is kind of fried on how to rank these now. But I think, this is a bad way to start a list, but I think I've got a solid list that I'm not going to change when I'm making this video. I'm mainly judging these films based on their pacing and how they use Jason Voorhees, like story-wise, and just how connected the overall plot is, especially how they tie in Jason being there. Because a lot of these films have no plot line except teen drama, and then Jason comes in the end to kill them all. But I'll talk about that when it applies. Let's get into the ranking. Starting with film number 11, Friday the 13th, Part 3. Let me repeat myself. Most of these films suck, but they all have some redeeming quality or something that makes them special. This one's most interesting thing is that it was shot in 3D when 3D was getting popular. So there's so many stupid random shots of them being like, whoa, 3D, look what I can do. My pole's gonna jab you. Oh my gosh, yo-yo in your face. And like watching this without 3D glasses, it's just like,
you give up? You out of your mind?
Right.
Apart from that 3D part, it was pretty boring, at least for me. Also, it was the first to really separate Jason's storyline from his mom dying. Like last movie, we left off with Jason being subdued and his mother's altar still standing. And then this one, Jason is just like a traveling killer now who's just starting to be disconnected from his mommy. I like the mommy plot. You'll see this a lot in the video, but I like the plot of, it's like it builds off the first one. I like how it builds, and then this one they're just like, he's just killing to kill. I want mommy issues Jason. But yeah, this movie was mostly boring. These movies have so much unnecessary scenes of kids being kids, which I get it, you gotta add some character work, but it doesn't help when I hate most of the kids and they're all kind of jerks and flat. Most everyone in this film is either rude or doesn't like each other, and they just spend a lot of time on this one kid who, his personality is he's fat and no one likes him. Like he tries to make jokes, but people get annoyed at his jokes. He's just like, oh, I'm so fat and ugly. I'm so fat and ugly. Nobody likes me.
Just relax. Be yourself.
Would you be yourself if you look like this?
And then eventually he's killed, and the characters think it's a joke, which we see that coming from a mile away. And it's just like, I was on his side feeling bad for him, and I think he called someone a slut or something, and then I was like, okay, he can die now. I'm fine with that. The only real plot connection between the kids and Jason is the main girl was attacked in the woods by Jason years before, and she came back to this campground farmhouse to face her fear, which I guess it works. Other than that, we're just watching teens do teen stuff and then die, which is it's gonna be a common theme in this video. I also tried counting, and there were, I think, 13 times where it was either a fake out jump scare or just build up that leads to nothing. There are so many times where they start playing the just to build up the music very slowly, and then it's not Jason, or it just like cuts off and they're like, oh, nothing there. Okay. I'm fine with a couple, I get it, but like to the point where I start counting, it's so annoying. I don't know, this film just didn't hit for me. It's cool to see Jason get the mask, and now he's a little more invincible and stronger, for better or for worse. And really the most fun thing about this film is imagining it in 3D, because it's not that entertaining watching this movie wanting Jason, and then you just get another scene of a guy juggling apples in your face. It's probably not as bad as I'm making it out, but it's not a fun watch really until the last 30 minutes where Jason actually starts doing stuff. Also, I will talk about kills at the end of each movie, just because I feel like kills are a good thing to highlight, because that's what slashers are basically about. Kills in this one were more good than bad, actually. We had some cool, brutal ones with good effects, and then there were, of course, some that were just like a stab and it cuts immediately. But a lot of the gore effects were pretty good, especially in a film which I didn't care too much about. I think my favorite, just for how funny it was the harpoon shot, which I think is a pretty famous one for this film, because it's a pretty weak kill, all things considered, but the way Jason... First off, you can see him like put the gun right on the side of the post, like he's going, okay, this is where I got to be for the 3D effect. And then the way he like tosses down the gun and then just strolls away is like, he seems like he does not want to be here. But I mean, I guess that'd be cool to see in 3D. Yeah, it's a boring film. I don't like this film. Number 10, Friday the 13th from 2009. Average. It's not an awful movie, but it's so average. The movie ended, I was like, okay, that was average. It feels like the most 2009 style slasher I could watch. I do like in this film, since it's a reboot, they redid a lot of stuff with Jason's character. Not redid, but they remastered, I'd say. Crystal Lake is now like his home base, and he's made tunnels and traps, and he's more like a hunter, which I'd say definitely fits for someone living in the woods and on a campground. And it's also cool how they went from the Part 2 style bag on his head to the hockey mask. I think that was pretty nice. I think that was a fine reference and progression. But the main characters didn't care for anyone again. All are pretty one-dimensional and mostly jerks and good for a joke or two, but it's the most stereotypical teens you could think of. And my lord, there's so much nudity. There's nudity in... I think almost all these movies, but this by far felt the most like a porno, straight up. The other film's nudity is mostly like 30 seconds to like 2 minutes of sex, and then Jason kills them, which he does in this one too. But in this one they have a music video of a topless girl water skiing, which Jason does interrupt, but he takes too long with it. It's like, okay. It's a pretty good reboot in the fact that it moves Jason's character. It develops him a lot more than the other films definitely do, and it focuses on him a little more than the other characters, at least compared to other films. But the movie's the same kind of pacing as the other ones, but it's in the 2000s now. I will say the kills were pretty good in this one. An issue with some of the other films is that a lot of the kills, they die and it cuts off immediately and we don't care about the character at all. But in this film, they linger on each kill in a pretty good way, to where it feels like Jason's really picking off the group one by one, and it's getting tenser with each death. And it makes the characters, even though I don't like them, it makes them feel more like people rather than just bodies to kill. I think my favorite kill, even though I just bashed the nudity... Okay, this isn't about the nudity, though. I think my favorite kill is the dock girl, which after the guy driving the boat gets killed with the person who was water skiing, she goes under a dock and Jason's like walking above her. And then no music, he just stabs the machete down, kills her, and that's it. And it's sudden and it's good. I liked it. I didn't need to see the boobs again, but you know, apart from that, I like that kill. It's a cool kill. Apart from that, though, kind of a snooze fest. I was watching this at like 2 a.m., but I was falling asleep when watching it a little bit. Number 9, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. He does not take Manhattan. You can't name a movie something as good as Jason Takes Manhattan just for him to be in New York for 30 minutes of the hour 40 movie. Look, I'm sure if I rewatch this now, I would appreciate how stupid it and kind of campy it is, but for a first-time watch, I was so disappointed with how little he was in New York that I'm keeping it low on this list. It was, the whole movie was like, yeah, we're going to trip to Manhattan, this is awesome. All right, we're getting close. We're getting close. Gotta be close by now. Gotta be almost to Manhattan. Almost there. All right, we're in Manhattan. Time for Times Square. And then he's out of the back alley for like 2 minutes, goes into a sewer, and there's like nothing to do with New York, basically. I thought this was going to be like a Predator 2 kind of vibe, but no, Jason's on a boat the entire time, and almost all the kills happen there. Also, a weird thing about this one, I know these films aren't praised for their acting, of course, but the acting wasn't hitting for me in this one for some reason. In this one, everyone just felt kind of too calm about everything. Like the first kill the cast sees, everyone comes in the room to see someone bleeding out dead, and they're just like, oh. Yeah, it's starting. And the principal offers condolences like he's at a funeral. Like, have a little more panic. There's a dead body in here, and there's a killer on board. Apart from that, honestly, solid movie. Has some fine team building. It doesn't linger on it too long. And if I rewatch this, I'm sure I'd rank it higher. But I'm sticking with my initial reactions here. Put that boat on full blast and get Jason to Manhattan immediately. And also the kills in this one were pretty good again too. There's some pretty creative ones, like there's one through a camel lens, and again, pretty brutal stuff. And I think my favorite was a pretty simple one. There's a punk rock girl, and she's in the basement basically, and Jason takes her guitar and smashes her, and it's a cool like blood splatter effect on the camera. The only problem is after she died, I had to pick a new favorite character. Boo. Number 8, Part 4, The Final Chapter. This was not the final chapter. This movie's another case where it focuses too much on a new group of kids that all die in the end and serve no purpose other than bodies. And Jason's barely in the movie until the end. He escapes from the morgue, which I would like to see like a string of bodies start to appear, but no, he escapes the morgue, and then he's a ninja. He gets back to camp fine. It's another case where Jason kills throughout the movie and then nobody finds out till the end. Although the main characters do realize something's wrong earlier in the film rather than just like, oh, where's everyone? And then they find out they're all dead. It was also the first in the series to get me to care about the kids a little bit more this time, just because Marty McFly's dad, George, I think it's George, I'm calling him that, there's a little arc about him, okay, this is stupid, there's an arc about him being too awkward and a little scared to get laid, and then he finally gets the guts, but then he's immediately killed after. Literally, he's celebrating, and then it's like, bam! And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot, Jason's in the movie. It's like, it's a good story to watch unfold, but Jason shows up to ruin it for basically no reason other than he's Jason. Jason's character in this is, he's Jason and he kills kids, and there's no really progression with him, which I want to see. I want to see Jason's story. There is this one guy who's trying to get revenge because Jason killed his sister, but literally even watching this, I forgot about him for so long because he does basically nothing. And it's okay, it's better than the others, but it's a basic movie still, and not the final chapter. Even though they killed Jason, it's not the final one. And the kills in this one were here and there. A lot were simple and quick, but there were some hidden gems. If I had to pick a favorite, it would be George McFly after he got laid. It's a happy moment, and this is the one character I'm like, hey, he's good for him. But then Jason stabs him immediately, quick machete shot to the head, which no scream, just silent, and then cuts away. That was a cut. I like that cut. It was like it makes you go like, ooh, and then it just goes on to the next scene. I like that. What about it? Basic film, but I like that one kill. Number 7, Part 5, A New Beginning. I gotta respect it. They earned my respect. They did not bring Jason back to life just for a sequel. Yet. Oh, very strong yet, but they waited one movie to bring him actually back to life. And I do like the idea of Jason Voorhees is such a mythos now that someone can impersonate him and people think Jason's back from the dead to kill more people. Good in theory, but the actual killer in this, Roy, I had to look him up after the movie because he's literally maybe 1 minute of screen time in this film until the end when it's like, oh my gosh, it's Roy. Even in the reveal, they're not like, it's Roy. It's like, oh yeah, it was Roy, by the way. The story behind Roy is at this halfway home, Roy's son, which nobody knows it's his son, he was murdered by one of the patients, and Roy is one of the paramedics to come take his body away. And after this interaction, he's not seen for the rest of the film until he dies. So, cool concept. I guess I could see Roy getting revenge on the kids, but he could use some more plot relevance to make his character stand out in the big twist. Other than that, this film is also good at giving us diverse characters. There's not too much unnecessary building with anyone, and like it stays pretty interesting throughout, even if some people are just there for kills. And the older Tommy Jarvis is I'd say a good logical continuation of the last film. Following Tommy's story finally ties Jason Voorhees to the main story in a meaningful way, as Tommy has visions of Jason and he acts out sometimes.
Can't you take a joke?
Although I do wish they let him conquer his visions more throughout the movie, rather than just him getting the courage in like 1 second at the end. It would be cool to see him be like, to conquer his fear and his PTSD and build with that throughout the film, but most of the film he's just kind of like, oh, Jason, oh, Jason, oh, Jason. But I'd say this is one of the better films. And after this part in the list, we start to get better from here on out, obviously. Not good films, but better. And for the kills in this one, I think this is one of the weaker ones on this list. Most of them are quick stabs and things that cut away immediately. And a favorite, I guess I'd pick, there's the tree belt scene. There's one in an outhouse where someone gets stabbed multiple times, but this one, someone backs up against a tree and Jason ties a belt around their face and just crushes their skull, basically. I hate to keep saying brutal, but it felt very brutal. Everything else, meh. Next film. Number 6. Friday the 13th, Part 2. This one makes me so sad. I watched it for the first time, I think September, and then I rewatched it for this video. And I want to rank it higher so badly, but there's too many camp shenanigans again. There's too much random teen stuff that I don't care about. I don't care about these kids. I don't know these kids. I want to see Jason. The only reason it's above Part 5, I was also tweaking this one when I was making this list, but the only reason it's above Part 5 is because I like his mother's head and him keeping it. I like the mother connection to Jason. And also, I like how he's very much a rabid killer in this rather than the strong silent type we see in the later entries. He's much more kind of I haven't seen Halloween, but he's very Michael Myers-esque in the later films where he's just unreasonable and a killing machine. But in this one, he's much more of just like a crazed human. I like the bag look. I like the fact that he has a little place by Crystal Lake, and it makes him feel, this really builds him up as like the Camp Crystal Lake killer rather than just a killer named Jason. It creates a good mythos for him. This is a good mythos movie. But apart from that, it's still too much random stalking shots that lead to nowhere, and just kids being kids. So much kid stuff. I would like to see maybe like one glimpse of Jason like praying to his mama or something, because the shrine only gets used towards the end and that's it. I will say that Ginny, the final girl in this, is one of my favorite final girls, if not just for the ending struggle where she sees Mrs. Voorhees' head and is like, well, this guy's crazy, I got an idea. She's a pretty average character for most of the film. I didn't really care for her too much, but she gives Jason a little characterization, and yeah, she's pretty smart. Gotta give that to her. But overall, I just wanted more I always want more Jason stuff, but I wanted more Jason stuff. And again, the kills in this one were nothing special. A lot of stabs and throat slits, the usual. If I had to pick a favorite, this one was hard. Not because like they're all good, but because they're all kind of basic. But I'd have to say the wheelchair on the stairs one. It's a quick hit and the guy is out, and it's cool seeing him roll down the stairs. I guess it's brutal, but then they use this shot in like 2 or 3 flashbacks in other films, and I've seen it way too much now. Cool one, but it's they were too proud of it. Number 5, Jason Goes to Hell: The Final Friday. This is a pretty good film. Good effects, interesting story, and it keeps the pacing pretty well, and it keeps Jason the focus. But I feel obligated to rank it lower just because what in the world, how did we get here? What does this have to do with Jason? Yes, the movie's plot finally uses Jason fully rather than just having a group of kids that he comes and kills. But now Jason just possesses people and there's a whole bunch more lore added. If you haven't seen it, this movie, Jason's back, and the FBI blows him up, and then in the dissection, he possesses the doctor, and then he possesses more people and passes along through them. And our main guy, I gotta read the script for this. Our main guy, Steven, tries to stop Jason before he can possess his niece, aka Steven's ex, or their baby, as the only way to regenerate Jason's body is for him to possess a family member. Again, interesting concept, and it keeps the pace up through the movie, but it does not feel like a Friday the 13th movie. It's a good movie, but I don't know, it feels off. My highlight about this movie is it does handle side characters well, especially ones that die, as it gives them enough screen time to develop their personalities and characters just enough, but if they get killed off, we didn't waste any excess time watching them do stuff. It's got a good mix of interesting characters without having unnecessary scenes. And the characters that do have a lot of screen time, they usually have something to do with Jason or the plot at hand. And kind of the subplot / main plot has to do with Steven want to be a good parent for his baby and ex, which is handled pretty well, actually, might I say. They don't focus on it for a grueling amount of time, but they develop it enough to where we care for the characters while the action keeps going, and it has to tie in with Jason needing to possess the baby or the ex-girlfriend. In all honesty, I would rank this higher. I feel bad saying it, but I like the film. I think this is one of the lesser liked ones in the series, but I like this one first. I think it's just, they got good effects. That usually lures me in. I want to rank it higher, but it's just not Friday the 13th really. And it's, I think, the least Friday the 13th of the franchise. It also feels out of place, I guess, because Jason isn't slashing around the whole time. He's really only killing people who are in his way. So most of the kills in this one happen kind of in bulk towards the end. And a lot of them aren't too extreme. A lot of them are just Jason, the possessed person, kind of just pushing people out of their path and they die. But my top one for this is the melting scene. If you know me, you know I like practical effects. I'll be the first to say it. I think they look cool. But I didn't go into a Friday the 13th movie expecting to see someone melt away like a gremlin. Even his like jaw falls off. It's a really cool effect. I gotta put it on there. It's a cool effect. Not very 13th-y, but I liked it. Jason Goes to Hell, you will be in my heart, but I gotta do it for the sake of the list. Number 4, Part 7, The New Blood. I didn't have any words when I first saw this ending. It's one of those films where it like ramps up to the very end and then it just ends basically. So I'm kind of just left there like, props to them for taking the leap and giving up on a regular camp slasher. For its cons, this film again focuses too much on random teen drama, and again Jason is kind of an afterthought in this one too. When he's there in the end, it's good, but for a lot of film, like half of it is still just Jason gets revived and he's off in the wilderness. He's free. We set him free. For its pros, Psychic Girl versus Jason Voorhees. This film we're at a level now where it's not even so bad it's good. It's just so crazy of an idea that it's good. They don't even start slow with the psychic powers and make Tina, the psychic girl, name is Tina. They don't even make her like slowly realize she has powers. It opens on her accidentally killing her dad and then being tested by a therapist to use her powers. It's basically, I think I saw the director or something said this, but it's Carrie versus Jason. And the last like 20-minute battle between her and Jason is, I think in the franchise, one of the craziest and funniest things there is. She throws a couch at him, she throws a potted plant, she drops an awning on him, she smashes him in the head with the light and he just falls through the stairs like he's made out of tungsten. One of the funniest things is Jason's trying to kill her, but he's also, while he's doing it, he's looking around like, what in the world is going on? Like, you can tell he's never fought a telekinetic girl before. I physically can't rank this any lower just because it's so stupid and it's so fun. A little slow build up, but when it gets to the final battle, it's it's worth it. And I'm sorry to say the kills were basic again. Again, we got some special ones, but again, there were a lot of slashes and stabs and a very underwhelming weed whacker. That set me off a lot. Jason had this weed whacker and was chasing kind of the main villain, the guy, the therapist that was trying to use her for her powers. Jason's running after him with a weed whacker, and then we think he's gonna like shred his face off. No, he uses his saw weed whacker and just slashes him on the chest and he dies. Boring. My top kill, again, I couldn't really pick one. They were all kind of basic, but I'd pick a good classic punch through the chest. I like a good punch through the chest. It also gives Jason a reason to get his machete, which good way to get the action started. Number 3, Friday the 13th, the original. I have a confession. This isn't really a great movie. And I won't lie, I didn't like it as much as lower ranking films. It again has pacing issues. There's too much random camp teen stuff. They killed someone's pet snake for an unnecessary scene. And it's just, it takes a while to get into the meat of it. And even in the meat of it, there's not much meat. But unlike every other film, this one maintains a slow pace pretty much up until the end. The problem is it is painfully slow in the beginning. But once everybody starts getting picked off, it gets eerier and eerier in the camp. There's not much music except for the action parts, so we really, unlike the other films, we really get to feel how terrifying an empty camp is at night.
Generator.
The final girl in this film, Alice, eventually becomes the final girl. And before finding bodies, rather than running around through camp screaming everyone's names, she's calm. She's worried, but she's calm. The movie takes its time just following her around and building tension, and there's a lot of juice. There's a lot of juice. It gets juicy with the tension. And after she finds a body, the audience starts to feel her paranoia and uneasiness too. At least I did. She runs back to the cabin and starts boarding up the doors and everything, and the camera doesn't cut, and we get a sense of where the windows and doors are, and it becomes uncomfortable to think of how this could go wrong. Alice's actions are really messy, and she's just barricading exits, and after Miss Voorhees starts chasing her, it just keeps this really eerie feel of the dark camp. I don't know, the film's real slow and pretty basic, but the last half hour or so just feels really cool to me. Like, none of the other films maintain a slow pace at the end, and something about this just really feels more, I don't know, more guttural. I don't know. It feels more like a person fighting for her life rather than a regular slasher film. It's not a great film. It's not even a good film, I'd say, but it has some artistic appeal to me. It fits my fine taste. I have a fine taste, I ranked. You'll see what the top is 2 spot is. The kills in this one are also pretty basic. This film kind of sucks. I feel bad ranking it top 3rd, but like I like the last part. I don't know, something about that last part. Okay, disclaimer for the top 3rd spot in this. It's not a great film, and I wouldn't really recommend it, but it has its place in the universe. But the kills in this one, we got the iconic arrow stab from under the bed, which I think is the most famous one in this movie at least. But my favorite is the bathroom axe, because it really builds up the tension here. I like that the tension of this movie is amazing. I like that. It really builds up the tension with some creepy shots, and then we finally get a good swing on her, but there's like one shot where the hand's behind the curtain, and we just, I like that. I like that one. I like that one. This film kind of sucks, but I like the tension. That's my 2 cents. Number 2, Jason X. Yes, Jason X is my top 2nd Friday the 13th film, and I will stand by that. You can write that on my tombstone. This movie is Jason Goes to Space. I think that's literally how they pitched it. The film is Jason Goes to Space. The ignorant mind might see this and say, oh, they gave up, they're out of ideas. Yes, but until you watch this, you cannot comprehend how much the makers of this movie know it's a stupid idea. They went full in on the stupidity of this idea. Full on 2001 cheesy, stupid sci-fi horror comedy. And the thing is, you can't go into this expecting a serious movie. It's like the Minecraft movie. If you go and be like, let's see what this fine movie's about. No, you gotta go and be like, okay, it's gonna be the stupidest thing I've ever watched, but I'm gonna have fun. I had so much fun. This film They took the prompt of Jason Goes to Space and I think legitimately executed it perfectly. I might have some bias because I saw this in theaters and the audience was loving it, but there are actual like story elements here where I think they did a genuinely good job. Like, the progression in this film is actually pretty solid. It's not mind-blowing Oscar worthy, but for what they were trying to accomplish, it flowed pretty smoothly. How do we get Jason to space? Well, he gets frozen trying to kill someone, and then years later, 400 years later, a scientist on a space cruise with his students, they find Jason, and the teacher needs money so he can pawn off the real Jason Voorhees for billions of dollars. Good way to get Jason to space, good way to make the teacher not want to get rid of him. I think that works pretty well. Oh, we need some teens to kill? Well, the students on the ship, they're going to Earth to find resources to try and bring back and find history. Yeah, that works pretty well. Oh, we need some hypersexual and stupid teens? We got that in the future. They checked that box off. They even somehow fit in a stoner dude. It's legitimately like, I am in awe at how good it worked. This film is a great level of camp and like extreme sci-fi tech, and to top it all off, there are so many, there's so much cheese in this. There's so many one-liners and just badass moments, and it's like not even camp, it's just like cheese. It's just, this is such a cheesy movie and it's so fun.
Shit, it's yours. Take it. Guys, it's okay. He just wanted his machete back.
There's even a scene they have to distract like Jason for a sec, so they make a hologram of Crystal Lake, and they have two girls that say,
Hey, you want a beer?
Or do you want to smoke some pot?
Or we can have premarital sex.
We love premarital sex.
I'm so thankful that I saw this in theaters because the audience reactions for that scene and for all the scenes were just, this was so fun. And the kills in this, they didn't skip out on like the space setting. Someone's head gets frozen, someone gets sucked through a hole into space. Literally an entire space station blows up. And I would say the frozen head one is my favorite, if not for the cheesiness of a one-liner. Never underestimate how good a one-liner can make a kill. Jason is being hunted and he pushes a soldier onto a giant screw thing because, you know, classic space station stuff. And the guy gets pushed onto it and stabbed, then he slowly spins down around it. And then when someone finds him, they have the audacity to put this line in.
Sarge, we found Condor.
What's his condition?
He's screwed.
I highly recommend this film, especially if you can watch it with friends, especially if they're horror nerds at all. It's the stupidest thing, and it's hilarious to watch with Friday the 13th fans. Even after seeing all the other films in this franchise and then going to this one, I immediately put it at number 2 on the list just because it's to the point where it's not so bad, it's good. It's so cheesy, it's good.
It's gonna take more than a poke in the ribs to put down this old dog. Yeah, that ought to do it.
I don't know if this is genuinely an awful film. Well, it is, but like, I don't know if it's genuinely like the worst film ever, and I'm just the most brain dead person in the world. But like, in this franchise, this is a block of gold. I love this film. That's all I have to say. I love this film. And number 1, part 6, Jason Lives. You're not going to believe what I have to say, but this Friday the 13th film, this is a good film. After 10 other movies, we have a wholly, genuinely good film. And it's not just an alright film. It doesn't just work. It's literally a good film. Start to finish, I enjoyed this. And I can make an entire video saying how good this film is and what it does better than everything else in the series, but I won't yet. But I will go into detail about how good this movie is. From the start, its main plotline focuses on Jason and basically nothing else. No random romances, no teen drama, just Tommy Jarvis and Jason duking it out. Tommy wants to go burn Jason's body to get closure on his trauma, but after jabbing it with a metal pole, it sparked Jason back to life. Unrealistic? Yes, but that's better than retconning the other movies again. And honestly, that's maybe the best way they could have done it without getting magic involved or anything. After he's up, Jason punches a hole in Tommy's friend while Tommy escapes, and just like that, Jason lives, and now he's a powerhouse of a killer. In the previous films, Jason was a regular guy, but as the movies went on, he just got stronger for really no reason. I mean, he survived a cut to his head and then got up fine in the morgue with no real explanation. But in this one, he's undead and now he has a reason for being basically invincible. So after this, Jason starts walking back to Crystal Lake and Tommy goes to warn the sheriff. And the sheriff, of course, doesn't believe him because Tommy's been in and out of mental institutions and the town wants to forget about Jason's murders. So the sheriff locks Tommy up. Another refreshing thing about this movie is that everyone pretty much makes the most logical decisions. Like, yeah, if someone who was traumatized by Jason Voorhees starts raving that he's alive and we gotta go kill him and he grabs a shotgun off the wall, I would think he's crazy too and lock him up. We, as the audience, obviously don't like the cops for impeding Tommy and getting people killed because of Jason, but you can see why they do this. So the main conflict here is Jason's back and Tommy needs to stop him. And throughout the stories of Tommy and the counselors at the lake, we see glimpses of Jason killing people on his way there. And finally, Jason is shown throughout the entire runtime. Even when we get scenes focusing on Tommy and the others, we get even just like a couple second glimpses of Jason marching through the woods just to keep it really keeps the pace going the whole time that, oh, Jason's still here, we gotta go get him now. There's no more like hiding Jason till the last 20 minutes just to kill everyone. And when he does kill just random people, there's not like whole scenes establishing these characters and what they're doing. There's little scenes that give us a little character depth, but just enough for Jason to like kill them and have fun with it, really. It gets their personalities going while still making them throwaway characters. And even for being throwaway, some of them come into play later. Like, granted, not by much, but the police find their bodies, so they still have a little bit of relevance.
Well, he picked the right day to pull this shit.
What do you mean?
Happy Friday the 13th.
Another nice thing is we're back to Jason killing camp counselors, but a thing this film does that none other does, there's finally kids at the camp. The camp counselors can finally counsel campers. And this is another thing that helps the conflict because now we have to not only stop Jason from killing people, but stop him from killing kids, which honestly I think I would have cared for it more than just killing random people. And another thing, these counselors are likable characters and they're given just enough screen time to develop them and make them distinct from each other, but not enough to where there's so much drama going on just for them to get wiped out by Jason later. Their plot is intertwined with Tommy, as one of them, Megan, also the police chief's daughter, she has a crush on Tommy, so now when she gets together with Tommy they have to go to camp to save her friends. Seeing how connected this plot is, like how every little thing is to everything compared to the other movies, is like, this is like Sinners versus Evil Bong level difference. I won't go into the entire plotline of the film. I could make a video on this later just because how much I like it. But just know that it's honestly an amazing watch, especially after the Bourne films that came before it. It keeps a good pace throughout the whole time. We get to see wacky kills, Jason gets to do some fun stuff, and it's a good way to wrap up Tommy Jarvis's little trilogy that he has. And the film is just so campy and unserious when it can be. And there are so many funny editing and meta humor things that I love.
Why'd I have to go and dig up Jason? Some folks have a strange idea of entertainment. Dig him up? Does he think I'm a farthead?
If I'm looking at my like 3 rules for a good movie on this list, Jason Lives tops all of them. Pacing is great, it starts strong, it doesn't focus on throwaway characters too much, and it builds up relationships while also showing Jason being Jason. And they use Jason to his full potential. He's like a star in this. He gets an arsenal of weapons, he even gets like a belt of weapons, strong kills, and there's plenty of cool shots to shine. And the entire plot is connected with Jason is the plot. We have a main character who has film history with Jason. He's got experience. And the entire conflict revolves around Camp Crystal Lake and stopping Jason Voorhees. I can't stop highlighting how good this film is. I rewatched the first 3 movies when I was making this video just because I basically forgot what happened in them and I needed a refresh. But this film, I was like, you know what? I'm rewatching this because it's a good watch. I don't need a refresher that much. It's a good film. Out of all the Friday the 13th films, Part 6, Jason Lives. I forgot to talk about the kills. That's how you know it's a good movie, if I forgot to talk about like the most important part of slashers. Jason goes crazy. He paints a room with blood, literally, like the person, it looks like they exploded. He just goes ham on people and tears them apart, dismembers people. It's great. And some very cartoony kills too.
Darling, you're gonna be the death of me.
And even if the kill is a simple slash in this film, it's the cinematography or the stunt that's associated with it just makes it look all the better than it usually does. The sad part is I really like these characters, so I hated it when they died, but the very extravagant kills, I'd say, made up for it. Rest in peace, all the campers. I love all the campers in this. Hi, Loki. My favorite is definitely the camper kills. I'm counting 2 because I can, because it's my favorite film in the franchise. Jason comically smashes someone's head through the van wall while the driver is just bumping music and having a great time.
This is great. I'm having such a good time.
It's such a goofy scene. I love it so much. And then when the driver dies, the bus action movies off of a ramp and catches fire, and Jason pops out and stands on top, and it looks so sweet. It looks so good. And another thing I just gotta add, this film has the best sex scene out of all of them. Weird thing to rank, but it is true. The one sex scene in this, there's no nudity, it's very short, it even gives a little characterization, and it's a funny gag. Even the bratty counselor that dies first, the sex scene makes him a funny guy. This movie gets my award for favorite sex scene. And last thing I forgot to mention, this movie has songs from Alice Cooper in it. Makes for a great soundtrack, awesome 80s vibes, and it's just a great way to close the film. That's all I gotta say. I'll end it there. Out of all the Friday the 13th films, Part 6, Jason Lives, takes the cake by a long shot. And it's honestly might be a top film of this year. Future video, we might see. And that is pretty much it. If I had to recommend any watches from this list, I would obviously strongly suggest Jason Lives if you're looking for a well-centered comedy horror slasher. Also recommend Jason X and Part 7 for unserious watches, especially to do with friends. And unless you're really interested in the franchise or you're a horror buff or anything, the other films in this list aren't anything award-winning or anything to write home about. If you don't watch these, you'll survive in life. But if you do watch them, it gets better after 5. Just know that. And if you got any thoughts or tidbits to share, please let me know in the comments. I really love seeing what you guys have to say. It's easy when you have a small channel, but I read everyone and I respond accordingly. I will say I did basically no research behind these films at all. I just went off my initial reactions. So if there are any behind the scenes stuff or facts about these films that explain how good or how bad they are, let me know in the comments, because I love to hear that. I love hearing from you guys. Comment on my video. I can see you. Comment on my video. Comment something. Happy Hibiscus, comment again. But like always, like and subscribe. And if you're going camping this summer at all, be safe and don't keep a machete around. Or if you do, don't let it. Keep your eye on your machete.